Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.Eliances.com. Now, back to our super host, David Cogan, founder of Eliances.
Can you believe this morning and the things that we're learning? I mean, we had the president of Ahwatukee Foothills Chamber of Commerce. We just had the president of a bank, U.S. Republic Arizona Bank, best U.S. bank under $100 million, talking to the president. We'll be ending the Heroes Show with the founder and CEO of Edible Arrangements. But first, how many of you can't remember what you had for breakfast? Or for that matter, the name of someone who you just got introduced to? It happens all the time, all the time. It's incredible today because we have the world record holder for memory. This is the first American to win the World Memory Championships and the highest point score in the 24-year history of the competition. Now, you remember what I just said? Well, if not, you're going to hear some incredible things because we have Alexander Mullen, who is with MullenMemory.com. Again, if I can remember his name, Alexander Mullen. I got to ask you, this is the real superpower. When did you realize, Alex, that you had this?
Hi, David. Thanks for having me. It's really not a superpower at all. In terms of it being like a natural skill, it's something that I worked on through practice. I read about these things called memory techniques, which are just these ancient sort of strategies for improving your memory a few years ago when I was in college. And I just started practicing them and working on them, and eventually got to a point where I started competing in competitions, and then eventually, got to a point where I won the World Memory Championship. So that was a pretty exciting moment for me.
Yes, but Alex, you have 7 memory world records. You're the top-ranked memory athlete in the world. If there is no magic pill for memory, then what are some of the few secret tips that you can share to increase memory?
Yeah, so most of the memory techniques that I use in the competitions or for studying for medical school or something like that is based around this idea that visual and spatial memory are much stronger than your natural sort of, memory for, say, numbers or random words or things like that. So as a memory competitor, what I try to do is take what I want to remember, whether it's, numbers or medical information or whatever, and turn it into some kind of image that I can visualize. And by doing that, it helps the information stick a lot better. So, for instance, if I met somebody and I wanted to remember their name, I might find some sort of distinct feature about the person. Maybe it's their eyebrows or their nose or something like that, and then try to imagine their name. Say it's David, and then turn that into an image. So maybe David becomes like David Letterman or somebody like that, and then I'll make David Letterman interact with that person's eyebrows, like pulling out that person's eyebrows, or imagine David Letterman, smacking that person in the nose if they have a distinctive nose. So yeah, that's basically the process is turning things into images.
So you bring up a good point. Then, are you saying that when doing the memory, that something is more drastic somebody remembers versus something so good? Because you said some very things that go wow. Somebody goes wow. Does that make you memorize it better?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, what we try to do as competitors is take the information which, on its surface is very boring, like, a set of numbers or something like that, and make it as kind of creative and imaginative and ridiculous and therefore memorable as we can. So that's definitely the process of doing it. Yeah, you try to imagine some kind of crazy, unbelievable image.
Now, you also hold the 2016 USA Memory Champion. You can memorize the order of a deck in 16 seconds. You hold a Guinness record for most digits memorized in 1 hour. I mean, this is just phenomenal. Since you have such a phenomenal memory, I guess you can't use the excuse ever, right, with your wife of, well, I forgot to do something, honey, or I don't remember or something. But what would you?
Yeah, it's definitely a little harder. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's going to say, I mean, you don't have an excuse, Alex. That's something that's, But what would you say, though, is one of the greatest assets of having the ability to memorize things and the ability to help others memorize it?
Yeah, well, with my website, Mullen Memory, what I work on it with my wife, Kathy, and what we try to teach is how to apply the techniques, the types of techniques that I use in competitions, but more for learning purposes. So, that could apply to, students like high school students or college students or people in medical school like ourselves, or really anyone who wants to learn something new, like a new language or something like that. So, we really try to make the techniques accessible and usable for learning purposes. That's sort of the main goal of, our website and this project we're working on.
And you're listening to Eliances Heroes. Are you a hero in business? Go to Eliances.com. That's Eliances.com. That's the place where entrepreneurs align. And we're speaking with Alexander Mullen, MullenMemory.com, top-ranked memory athlete in the world, holding 7 world records for memory. But, now this makes sense to me. You mentioned that you're in medical student, and imagine with all the things that medical students need to learn. I mean, it's incredible. But does your memorization ability to help others, can anyone learn it?
Yeah, I really think that anyone can learn it. I mean, like I said, I certainly don't feel like I was born with any kind of superpower memory. I feel like I had a very average memory. And then, like I said, I learned these techniques when I was in college, and I've worked on them. And I think that's certainly something that anyone can do. If you can just sort of imagine something in your mind, if you just, if I say apple and you can sort of picture an apple, then you can start to apply these same basic techniques. I think anyone can do it. Yeah.
And we'll have Alex's information, too, on our website at Eliances.com. Alex, is there a sweet spot, though? Let's talk about that. Is there a sweet spot, maybe perhaps of what you've seen, maybe reflecting age, gender, or any other characteristic that you have found that maybe make it easier for one person to learn over another to memorize things? I haven't really found that to be the case. In terms of the competitions, I think it's more common, for instance, to see people who are younger, sort of my age, mid-20s, mid to late 20s. But I think that's, as much a factor, as much based on the fact that, those kind of people might have a little more time on their hands to train and things like that. But I do think, like I said before, that it's really something that anyone can do from, very young all the way up to very old. It's really kind of a lifelong skill that anybody can apply. And what advice would you have, though, for maybe children or parents to teach their children how to best memorize things or study specifically within school? Because it seems like we do a lot of memorization in school.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, I guess, if I'm a little biased here, I would point them towards my wife and I's website, MullenMemory.com, and then we have these tutorials that sort of outline the basic techniques that we use. So the main one that we use is something called the Memory Palace. Which is a technique that goes back to ancient Greece. People used to use it to memorize, speeches and things like that. And basically, the idea is that you imagine a place that you know well. So that could be like your home or your, the place you work or your office or wherever. And you take the information you want to remember, you convert it into an image that you will place in that space. So, I'm in my house right now. I could imagine maybe something on the couch or something on the TV to represent the information. And so for more details about that, I encourage them to check out our website.
Excellent. And again, you can reach Alexander Mullen by going to MullenMemory.com. You can also go to Eliances.com. That's Eliances.com. Now, on your website, too, are there videos? Is it reading? What's on there that enables someone to do it? Where should they start?
Yeah, so it's got a little bit of both, a little bit of reading and videos. So there's 2 main video series that we have. They're each just about 20 minutes long for the whole thing. And those are kind of the basic tutorials. And then we also have sort of a FAQ, frequently asked questions page with, any kind of possible issue that tends to come up commonly. So they can check that out as well. We also, we just actually created this app also that we call Watson. Because it's sort of like Sherlock Holmes is somebody who's well known for using memory palaces, and so this app, as Watson is somebody who sort of helps him out with his memory palaces. So we use this drag and drop app tool called Semble to make that, and it was really kind of easy for us. And so now we have this app that they can check out in the App Store. That kind of goes through this, walks you through the same process of starting out, watching the videos. It has a demo palace on it, so you can kind of look through it and see the kind of things that we would see when we're using memory palaces. So, I'd encourage them to go to MullenMemory.com and then check out the Watson app. those are the easiest places to access the information.
And we've got a little less than 30 seconds left. How long does it take, as far as time-wise goes, to increase your memory using your program?
I think it's something that is really built into people naturally. So if they just kind of learn about the technique, they can really elevate their memory very quickly to a level that they probably didn't think was possible before. So just to give you an example, we have this video called the 20-Word Challenge. It's about 5-6 minutes long, and if you just watch it, I walk through memorizing a list of 20 random words using a memory palace. And at the end, you should be able to know, all 20 words forwards and backwards, and it's a nice illustration of how the technique works. And so, hopefully you can prove to yourself that it's something you can do.
All right. Go to mullenmemory.com or Eliances.com. We are speaking with, again, top-ranked memory athlete in the world. I got to tell you, Alex, though, I just lost my keys. Can you help me remember where I placed them? And just incredible. Someone with special abilities like yours, Alex, and that could share it with others as a hero. Not to even mention that you're in medical school, so you'll be saving lives. So thank you, Alex Mullen. You're our hero today. And when we return, we're going to have the founder and CEO of Edible Arrangements. That's right, more than 1,300 stores worldwide. David Cogan with Eliances.